So Coach, just tell me a little bit about your involvement with American Top Team, how you got connected with the gym and kind of what you're doing day to day right now.
How you doing? Got connected with the gym a few years back. Been involved in jiu-jitsu forever. So back when it was the original Top Team, way back when, I knew a lot of the guys there from pro boxing. So been in fight sports, combat sports, probably 20, 25 plus years now. There was is a fighter, Mirsad Bektik, came out of knee surgery, did the post-orthopedic rehab and the sports performance for him, prepped him for a bunch of fights, and from there started working with Colby Covington, started working with Kayla Harrison, Kyoji Haraguchi, Renato Moicano, Sabah Hamasi, great fighter in Bellator, and just kind of from there, just as fights come and fight camps come or fights get signed, the fighters, we work out something and we start training.
Sure. I'm curious about Kayla because obviously she's in kind of this weird spot, right, where she's like fighting at 155 in PFL, but I think anyone who can kind of look in the crystal ball sees her maybe eventually being a 145 or whether it's Bellator or the UFC. So what are you doing in terms of working with her to make sure that she's obviously at her peak fitness for 155, but knowing like we don't want to add a certain frame that's like unreversible to get to 145 eventually?
Main thing, and this is with any fighter, stay in shape. We try to stay within 9 to 10 pounds of fight weight, sometimes 12. With female fighters, it's a little different. Try to keep that a little less if you can. That's based on body fat percentages and things that we check before we go into camp and we monitor during camp. For her, it goes without saying, amazing athlete, extremely disciplined. You could tell her a couple things, she'll do it 20 times and get it done perfect every time. But for her, really just monitor and just keep her working, keep her on schedule, and she's good. 45, obviously, like you said, that's where she'll end up. The writing's on the wall. But she's great at 55, she'll be even better at 45, and the rest is you'll see soon.
Yeah. Do you think does she lose anything at 45? Do you think, or do you think there's something she's gaining there even more so because she probably has to be even stricter and more focused with like her preparation and her weight cut and her diet and everything?
Big thing is just watch your volume during camp. Everybody gets nicks and bruises. Minimize your nicks and bruises. Stay fresh, and watch your caloric intake. Watch what you're eating, and then start your cut a little sooner if need be.
Do you have like a general philosophy? I know everyone's different. You're not anyone's dad. You can't handle everything they're doing day to day, and certain people act certain ways. But like a general philosophy on how you want your athletes to approach the weight cuts and the dieting and all those things specifically.
Everything we do, everything I do with my fighters is based on feedback. So we have great communication between Mike Brown, Steve Mako, all the coaching staff here at American Top Team. Speak with the coaches. You go over your training volume through the week. See where the fighter maybe has boxing, or they have grappling, or they have live goes, or it's drills or sparring. And in there, make sure you're getting in right amount of recovery time, getting the right amount of calories in and the right nutrient-dense food to sustain that workload, and then see where you can start tapering. Before you start your true weight cut, you start tapering the intensity down, and then get ready for a fight so you're fresh. But the big thing is monitoring and talking. Like, my athletes check in with me every day. I'll say, hey, how we doing? If I didn't happen to be here and see a sparring session or a grappling session or drilling or whatever, I could, ask Mike Brown or ask Mako, hey, how'd they do? Oh, they did great, or they're a little lagging today. And the fighter will tell me, I'll say, how'd you perform? How'd you feel? And they might say, I felt a little off. I didn't have my normal pop. My hips felt slow, my neck is sore, whatever it may be. And all that feedback, you just see what we have planned out for the week, and then we gear towards optimizing and getting out of those, those little areas so you're fresh.
That makes sense. And when you look at kind of the general state of like weight cutting, nutrition, MMA, it's obviously come a long way. Are you happy with where things are at, or do you still see like lots and lots of room for improvement on how it's done within the sport?
It's night and day. I was in pro boxing forever, way back in, I think I got in pro boxing early 90s, maybe like 89, 91 in that time frame. Worked with a couple Olympic teams prepping, and weight cut from then to weight cut now, night and day, world of difference. Even from 3-4 years ago, it's changed. So there's a lot of great guys and gals out there, nutritionists who do great nutritional, cuts and monitoring the fighters and, great meal plans. A lot of that stuff didn't even exist back then. So yeah, it's definitely changed, and just like anything evolves, I don't think it's at where it's going to stop. It has to keep refining itself. Science and the data and all the feedback you're going to get from fighters, that's going to keep expanding as that gets more popular. And the big thing is, if the fighter can perform and stays fresh, watches the training volume, gets the right nutrition, makes weight, and thank God hopefully wins the fight, then you're on the right track. But I think it's still, as far as it's advanced, it's got that much more room to get better.
Definitely. Well, appreciate kind of the insight and the mindset and everything, and it was great talking to you and meeting you for the first time, so appreciate it, man.
Anytime. Thank you, guys.